let the music speak for itself. I feel that's the way to introduce yourself.
And what does your music say when it speaks to the audience?
I've grown up with Osho. So around him, music was used for a variety of purposes. So, music was never just entertainment. No, it had a purpose. It had a purpose to create a certain vibration, certain energy, certain space. And because Osho himself was so vast, if I have to convey what my music say, I would say it conveys, or through the music, I try to pass on the space that I feel, I experience, I live of meditation, silence, grace, then joy, bliss, and going all the way to celebration. So you can say from meditation to celebration. This spectrum is covered in this music that I like to do.
And what has been your experiences being so close with Osho?
I would say whatever has been the experience is reflected in the music. Whatever is coming through this system with the music is his gift. I think he's one of the only masters from this century who actually begin to experiment with music in meditation. And then because of that, a lot of talented musicians came to him, or you can say people who came to him who were just musicians, and then they actually expanded a lot. You know some of them. You worked with them.
So is that the way you met Prem Joshua, for example?
Basically, yes. He has been a Osho sannyasin. I have been an Osho sannyasin. And in 1987, we met each other in Pune, and we just met straight in the meditation hall, in the Buddha hall, which we called. And just introduced, hi, I'm Joshua, hi, I'm Manish, and we started playing. And since then, almost 15 years, we worked together, traveled, made some CDs together. One of them is Water Down the Ganges.
Lovely one, I love that one. It's beautiful.
So that was our first collaboration together as a CD. But I played on all his CDs until recently. And we toured a lot together. So yes, actually, after Sattva, and then later another CD came called Prasad. I had a long gap. I've had a long gap before that. I'm coming out now with another CD. So the music which is now coming out in this CD has taken a birth during these years. To me, it carries a fragrance of love and devotion. In Hindi, we call it prem and bhakti. And also, it's not like these are the songs I sat down and started composing, and here 1 month later they were. No. They were. Every song happened in a very different circumstances. And for example, there is one song called Soham.
Oh yes.
Which means I am that. And that happened not when I was around my instruments. For example, that happened when in this mystery school, when I was living there last year, I went into silence of 21 days.
21 days of silence, that means you can't speak to any person?
No, you can't speak to any person, you can't read, you can't listen, you can't even look at anybody. You are supposed to be in the room for the whole day, mainly meditating or sitting or relaxing. Only 1 hour a day you are supposed to go out and walk. And in the night, yes, again, at the most you can go in the terrace, look at the stars, look at the sky. So you're with nature. This mystery school is in a very beautiful place in South India, right on the river. So I was there, and I'm not even allowed to write anything. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in the sky, looking at the stars, looking at the moon. and these songs start descending, I would call. And I don't want to name, I started channeling something. No, nothing like that. From somewhere they started like really coming, and I was not even allowed to write.
So you had to remember it.
Yes, and I was hoping that I hope I remember these compositions after I come out of the silence. And luckily, yes, I remember. So, for example, it happened in that kind of scenario, that one song. One song happened when I fell in love. So, that's why I say
Which one is that?
There is a song called In Search.
In Search. Oh yeah, that one I heard as well.
Yeah, it's going to be the last song of the CD. And that, I can say that came out of that space of being in love. I always take care that the content of the material that I select to sing is always on a higher plane. I don't like to sing, like in Hindi we call it Diwana Parwana Mastana.
Okay.
Or in English you will say, oh, I love you, baby, la la, like that. No. Even if that has to be conveyed, there are beautiful poetries which carries the meaning of love in a much higher dimension, like how Rumi would describe it. So that has been always my preference, to work on a material which lifts you from the level of the mind, it takes you up. There is going to be a song called Shivoham in this CD, and it's a different Shivoham than the Shivoham that people have heard on Sattva. And this Shivoham is actually a sutra from Adi Shankaracharya, which is one of the finest sutra or lyrics or Sanskrit texts that you will find on Advait Vedanta, or what we call non-duality.
Okay.
And the sutras has been close to my heart for a very long time.
Why?
And eventually, the essence that they talk about is, I feel is the essence of spirituality.
Can you describe it? Can you tell something more about it?
Very simple. What it says is that it negates everything that we think that we are. So, for example, to start with, it says Mano Buddhya Ahankar Chitta Ninaham. Meaning, you are not the mind, not the body, not the intellect. And then it goes ahead that you are not the father, you are not the mother, you are not the son, you are not a brother, you are not even a guru, you are not even a disciple. So it's like it is cutting out on every identity that we hold on to, that, oh, I'm this also. So it says then what you are.
Yes,
then it says,
what are we?
So first it talks about what you are not. And then it comes to say, so what you are. And then that said, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. That you are the form of eternal bliss. You are Shiva. But Shiva means not the Shiva as Lord Shiva. But Shiva means bliss. So they just don't leave you abstract that, okay, you are not this, you are not this, you are not. No, then they tell you that, so, okay, because you are not this, you are not what you can be. You're beyond the form, you're beyond the name, you're beyond the shape. And you are that oneness that prevails everywhere, which they like. This is where the Eastern mystics have been brilliant to express the unexpressible. So to listen to this kind of wisdom immediately attracts me, uplifts me, and I want to work with this kind of material, so that when such a thing is represented musically, it can simply become a meditation just to listen to this text. And if one can relate to the meaning of it, yes, it is in Sanskrit, so not many can understand it. But even once, if people understand, like, if I would put a meaning in my CD.
Yes.
And then if that understanding can be applied in our life. So that's why I say it is this kind of music doesn't just become a music for entertainment or, okay, nice, smooth listening. No, it has a purpose. It again and again can remind you, like, okay, so this is where we need to be, or this is what we need to realize, not to even experience, but to realize it. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned on DesiYUP.